Hi, you're listening to the Fresh Start Podcast, and this is episode number 34. Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh, it is mid-July, and I am sweating.
I don't want to hear it.
I can't imagine it being any hotter down in Florida than it is in Nashville, Tennessee. But it was like 110 heat index today.
And it's the humidity that's just awful. Maggie and I went to the store. We walked out of the store and our eyeglasses just fogged.
So it's humid down there too.
Yes.
Well, now I also heard something about a hurricane coming down that way.
I am so unplugged from the weather, but I did see in passing one of those pictures of the Gulf. So I don't know. I'll have to check in.
Well, I think it's probably not a hurricane. It's a tropical something that's forming down there. And it's like, they've named it Bertha, which I said, I think they should have saved the name Bertha for like a category 5.
Absolutely.
This should be Bunny. But
Bunny.
Yes. Yeah, my brother, I talked to him this morning. They're down at Gulf Shores and they're trying to hit the beach before it hits. So yeah, hopefully it won't be too bad. But we are here today finally to talk about the Enneagram. This is going to be a fun, and we're actually going to break this up into two episodes. This is going to be a double whammy for you guys because we have a lot of information to go over. And today we're going to just do like the basics. We're going to just talk about what it is for all you newbies that don't know what it is. Stacey is certified Enneagram coach. She has all of the answers. I'll be asking the questions. She will be doing the answering.
If I don't know the answer, I know where to find it.
That's right. That's right. So let's just kick it off by, talking about what is the Enneagram? How would you describe it?
I'll tell you how I met the Enneagram.
Okay.
So I have been into personality assessments like for my entire adult life. And I got really into Myers-Briggs back in the 90s before the turn of the century,
Mm-hmm.
And
you were 3.
And I've used that during my corporate career, just informally and for team building and things like that. I just loved it. I've used DISC. I'm certified now in my second career as a consultant and in the talent management space. I'm certified in a bunch of different tools. Mm-hmm. And during the pandemic, I was teaching on Myers-Briggs for people in career transition, because one of the things that these tools are great for is, you understand yourself and you get an idea of your strengths and what you enjoy doing. And, that leads naturally into career transition conversations. So I was doing that. And a woman that I met at the time who was going through our program was really into the Enneagram. And she said, she started talking about it. And I was like, yeah, no, I do Myers-Briggs. Like I was just a snob about the whole thing. And ultimately time passed and she finally got me to take it. And I took that assessment and I took it a number of different ways, just free assessments online. And it always came back to me being an 8. The first time I started reading the literature around an 8, I literally cried. I was like, holy cow, this is huge. Like, this is just, it was life. I'm not lying. It was literally life-changing for me. Mm-hmm. And it touched on things that no other assessment had ever touched on. And one of the things that it does so well is it not only shows you what your motivation is and what the patterns are that you prefer in terms of behavior under stress or not under stress. Like it shows you all of that, but it also shows you what to do about it. Like, what are your choices? Mm-hmm. So it's not about, I'm a certain number or I'm a type and that's it. It is, your work is just beginning. This is a map. And now you have this map to look at and chart your own journey.
Right.
And some of the work is really hard, and it's all internal heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was so pivotal for me that I went back into my company and I said, this is what we need. We got to do this for leadership development. So ultimately we did. I went through a certification process with Integrative 9. I used the tool IEQ 9, and I've now given it, I'm right shy of 500 times.
Wow.
And I use it for executives, for leaders at all levels, for teams. Just all, and then in my private practice, I use it for my coaching clients as well. It's just a tremendous thing.
You've seen it make a huge difference in everyone that takes it, right? I was looking for online, like a definition, like about the Enneagram, and what it said. You tell me if this sounds accurate. The Enneagram is a dynamic personality typing system based on ancient spiritual traditions that maps human psychology into 9 distinct types. Rather than just describing outward behavior, it explores why you do the things you do, the core motivations, the fears and desires that drive your actions. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, it does. And it has been used for hundreds of years in so many different ways. And there's math in it. There's psychology in it. There's spirituality in it. It is a number of things, and it can be applied in a number of ways.
Well, last week our episode was about criticism, and we were talking about how to give and take criticism in a healthy way. And one of the things we talked about was, in order to take healthy criticism, feedback, in a positive light, you have to have done some internal work yourself. You have to understand yourself. You have to do some ego checks, some spiritual growth. And I think the Enneagram is a really great way to start. So let's I've got a few questions here for you. So, well, first of all, like, how is it different from Myers-Briggs? Like you said, you hear about personality tests. I hear people say, "Oh, it's just a personality test," but it's really much more, correct?
Yeah, it really is. I would say one of the main differences is that the IEQ 9 or the Enneagram is that underlying motivation, the lens through which we see the world, what we're attracted to, what we're drawn to, what we're pulled away from. Like it's the motivation that we carry. That is, you can think of it like an anchor. It's the anchor, and our behaviors are just kind of attached to that. And depending on the flow of the ocean and the weather and all of that, you have different behaviors at different times. But underneath that is the motivation, the why behind what we do.
Right.
And the other thing is that all of these assessments and tools are great in many, there's positives in all of them for different contexts. But because this really isolates motivation, I think it is the one that makes the biggest difference in any context. Because in order to really connect and build relationship with people, you've got to really connect to what is their motivation? What are they attracted to? Like, what is their drive?
Right.
Behaviors just don't do the trick all the time. So what this does that's different is it says, you might be doing these things, but they're your choices. Here are some other choices you could make. So it gives you like a development path. It's not enough to just say, hey, I'm an ENTJ and you'll just have to deal with it. I'm an 8. And if I'm doing my work, this is what the work looks like. This is how I look when I'm doing my work and when I choose not to.
Right. I heard someone say, I don't want to do the Enneagram. I don't want to be put in a box. And I was like, no, it doesn't. It actually helps you get out of the box that you
really does.
That you put yourself in. And we're going to get to the IEQ 9 in just a second, but I was listening to another podcast. It's called Typology with Ian Morgan Crone, and his book, The Road Back to You. I read that like in 2017, 2018, and that's how I found out about it. I remember it was it was before there was like Audible. So like I
Mhm.
wanted to listen to it. I had a bunch of drives. So I went to the library and checked out the CDs and listened to them one CD at a time in my
Wow.
car. I know. And I really enjoyed listening to it. I would encourage anyone that wants to. It's just a great
Mhm.
beginning introduction. For me, it was. And I've heard a lot of other people that said that book really helped them too. But he was talking on his podcast today about some of these free tests that people take online and how inaccurate they are. I mean, I took 2 or 3 of them when I was just, I didn't want to pay. I was just kind of sticking my toe in the water, and I took one and it said I was a 6. And then I took another one and it said I was a 2. And then I took another one and it said it was a 9. And I was like, well, make up your mind. He said those free tests are not accurate. I mean, they might kind of give you some in an area where, maybe give you some things to think about. But he said, like, some of the questions are, do you love to be organized? Well, a 1 likes to be organized because they like things where they want it. They are they want their space organized. A 5, no, what he said, a 4 likes, no, a 3 said likes to be organized because he likes other people to think they've got it together. And and then he said a 6 likes to be organized because a 6 needs it for safety. So it's the motivation behind why are you organized?
Right.
Like you said, it's you, and so that's why you can't type someone else. Only you can type yourself, because only
Yeah.
you can dig down and really know what is your motivation behind what you do. So
Mhm.
talk about why the IEQ 9 test. Why is it different from any other? I mean, there's others you can pay for, but
Sure.
why is it so valuable for you in your coaching?
Yeah, it's an adaptive questionnaire. So one thing you notice when you're taking it is it continues to ask questions that seem kind of similar,
Mm-hmm.
especially toward the end, because it's adapting to make sure it's got enough information, and it's going to ask you things in different ways so that it can pinpoint motivation.
Gotcha.
Um, and and so that's one thing that makes it quite different. It's been out, oh gosh, since 2011, and there's so much research and
Wow.
analysis behind it. I've given it now 471 times, and I have yet to have someone say this isn't me.
Wow.
So that's my own experience with it, and then globally, there's like a 96% uh, confidence rate or take rate with it.
That's amazing.
So it is pretty amazing, and it's used across all industries. When I went through the certification, I was in there with people from the defense industry, from major retail human resources groups, like all kinds of interesting people are utilizing this in all kinds of industries.
Wow.
Because it is the thing. So all organizations, all of us, and we've talked about this in many different ways, emotional intelligence, the soft skills,
Mm.
the self-awareness, the ability to build healthy relationships. These are the things that we need more of in order to drive organizations and relationships in a positive
Mm-hmm.
direction. So that has to include self-awareness, which this does, and then it also has to show you, how do you manage yourself under difficult emotions. So how do you deal with stress?
Mm.
How do you connect with other people and build relationships, and all of that is what we need tremendously in the world.
Right, right. And so that test, I mean, I think we haven't even said the Enneagram basically has 9 different personality
Mhm.
types, but there's subtypes, there's
Mhm.
wings, there's stress points, strength point. There's all kinds of what is the word I'm trying to think of? It's not just
I
your
call them
number.
connecting
Yeah,
points.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that was for me too when I was trying to figure out what number I have when I looked at my wings and when I looked at what I go to in stress and what I go to in what's the other word?
Security.
Security. I was like, oh yeah, that all of those little things really helped me pinpoint that I was a 9 and not a 2, because that's kind of what I thought I was for a little while. But let's just, let's give out the basics here. Let's talk about the 9 different numbers. What are those basic numbers? So
sure. We have types 1 through 9, and these are the 9 motivations. They live inside the thinking, feeling, and doing center. So the action center, the thinking center, and the feeling center. Mm-hmm. So our action types are 1, 8, and 9. And the feeling types are 2, 3, and 4. And the thinking types are 5, 6, and 7. So I'll just start at the top with number 1.
Okay.
And number 1, and the IEQ 9 terminology is called strict perfectionist. I tell people, don't get too attached with the labels. They have to call them something. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the benefits of coaching, is you get to, really explore what's underneath the label. But for the strict perfectionist, I think the gift of the ones is, and the motivation is, they look out at the world at what could be improved, what could be done better. Mm-hmm. And that includes how we as people can be better, how processes can be better, how mm-hmm. we can get more done in smarter ways, like work smarter, not harder. That might have been one thing.
Right.
So seeing how things can be perfected and then pursuing those steps mm-hmm. to make things better.
Yeah, my husband is a 1, and he definitely, some people call it the reformer, but yeah, he is always looking for a way to do something better. And he also can't stand it when other people don't do their best. Why would you even do something if you're not going to show up and do your best?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, so I've learned a lot about him. I mean, that's one thing I'll say too, in relationships. Mm-hmm. Once you know your partner or your friends or your children, when you start figuring out their numbers, it really helps mm-hmm. in the relationship and understanding, okay, they're not just trying to be difficult. This is just how they're processing the world. And when you learn about it, so that's why it's important not to just learn your number, but to learn all the numbers. So, okay. So that's right. Number 1. What's number mm-hmm. 2?
The considerate helper, and the gift that 2s bring to the world and their motivation is being able to see what other people need often before those people recognize it for themselves. So they're the ones that will they'll feel very, very happy and very valued when they are helping other people. They're going to be the supporters, the nurturers, the comfort givers, they're the helpers. Mm-hmm. And they are probably, of the 9 types, the ones most focused in on relationships.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. And number 3?
Our competitive achievers are number 3. And these are the folks who get things done. So mm-hmm. there are some types that are just driven with momentum. 3 is one of those types. They are very comfortable, often just getting the work done themselves too. So very independently driven. Mm-hmm. And when they are able to, have people that report to them or people around them to help them get things done, they can achieve even more. So they're very savvy about, if I need to get a lot done, I want to pull people in who are also committed to the work, because we can get more done together. So there's no stopping 3s once they've put their minds to something. They are the ones that can juggle all the plates, get all the stuff done, care a lot about, if I'm going to put this much time and energy into it, I want to be seen and valued for what I do too. So I would love to step in the spotlight and receive some of those accolades.
I have a child that's a 3. That rings very true. Okay, let's go to 4. What are our 4s?
4s are the least common type. I don't run into 4s often in my work, either corporate or private.
Oh, I thought 5s were the least common, but 4s
no, yeah, 4s are. They say 6s are the most, 4s are the least common. Mm-hmm.
See, I know a lot of 4s because
of your industry.
My industry. That's right.
Yeah. Very creative. Sometimes not artistically creative, sometimes very solution the creativity and problem solving and finding solutions. But oftentimes these are the people that have that flair for the creative in many different ways. And the motivation for fours is to be who they are, to be authentic, for other people to see their uniqueness and their unique contributions in the world. So, when I encounter fours too, they care a lot about that with other people. So wanting to bring the best out of others as well. And of the 9 types, fours are the most capable of navigating difficult emotions and just emotions in general. So they have a very rich inner world and understand the complexity of emotion. And therefore, when people around them are going through an emotional time, fours are very supportive because they aren't bothered or put off or feel tension around those emotions.
Wow. Yeah. I think sometimes they're called the romantics or the individualists or I know there's different labels, but I know a lot of fours. Hey friends, we're taking a short break from our conversation to ask you a favor. If you are enjoying our podcast, we would really love it if you could take just a moment to share, like, rate, and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening on right now. It would help us so much so that we can grow and keep creating this content for you guys. Also, please find us on Instagram, join our Facebook group, and follow us on our YouTube channel. All the links are in our show notes for you, so check those out. Thanks for being great listeners, and please let us know about any guests or topics you'd like us to dive into here. We want to include you in this conversation too. You can email us at freshstartpod2025@gmail.com or message us on our social platforms. And now, back to our conversation. So let's go to 5.
I think 5 is my favorite type.
Really?
I'm just very intrigued by the way that 5s think. 5s are called the quiet specialist, and their motivation is to learn. To be knowledgeable, to acquire knowledge, not to be stingy with it. They want to acquire it and share it. So you often find teachers, professors, coaches, mentors as 5s. And 5s have this unique way of, you can envision like there's a library in their brains. And that library, as you might imagine, holds all kinds of different information, very, very organized though. So you have each section of the library, all the books by author. There's no emotions in the library. There's just very compartmentalized knowledge. Mm-hmm. And when you need to be on a trivia team, you want 5s with you because they know things that are just, you would never anticipate. And they don't, it just comes up one day and you're like, oh, look, it's a lizard. Oh no, that's not a lizard. That's a salamander, blah, 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 blah. Like that, it's just very interesting.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
5s are very technical, analytical problem solvers. They are, contrary to popular belief, they do have a lot of emotion that they share, but it's compartmentalized. So they share it on their own time. Very interesting type 5s.
Yeah, I was convinced Mike was a 5. Of course, like I said, you're not supposed to, because he does have a lot of those, what you just described. I would go, wow, that sounds a lot like my husband, but are 1s and 5s connected at all?
Well, we'll talk about one of the unique components of the IEQ 9 because 1 is in the action center, 5's in the thinking center, and we have a preferred pattern in each of the centers. So Mike may very well prefer 5 patterns in the thinking center.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to 6.
6 is the most common. Wow. So 6 is the loyal skeptic, and they are motivated by security, a risk awareness. So not that they are afraid of risk or want risk necessarily, but they see it. They will alert others to risk as well. So they anticipate what could go wrong and also what could go right. And they really like to be in organizations and friend groups and whatever with people that they trust. So integrity, trust, those kinds of values are important in relationships.
Cool. And we are at 7.
7, the enthusiastic visionary. So this is one of the types that has a high drive and momentum, and 7s are notorious for just being spontaneous and wanting to do the next cool thing. 7s will prefer to look at what's positive and possible over what's negative and what might bring you down. So 7s are often optimistic and are one of the types that will prefer to look at a solution more than a problem, because why spend our time and energy on something that we all know is wrong and bad when we can focus on the solution? So 7s are going to be motivated by that variety and the pursuit of possibilities and wanting to have really positive, meaningful experiences in life.
Cool. And now we're at 8.
Whoop, whoop, that's my type. So active controller, motivated by wanting to maintain control. It's just like the title, like there's a relationship with control there. Very decisive, one of the high momentum types, so very driven toward the future, planning. You give me a goal and I will get you there. You show me where you're headed, I will make sure everything arrives on time, right? Those kinds of people, quite loyal and protective of those in their inner circle. Yeah, that's an 8 in a nutshell, I think.
Yeah. My father-in-law is definitely an 8. And sometimes they're called the challenger, right? They challenge the status quo. Like, why?
Yes.
Why does it have to be that way?
Yeah.
What about the 9s? That's me.
Oh, that's you, the adaptive peacemaker. And 9s, just like that title, they prefer to live in peace. And if there is conflict going on around them, 9s are very well suited to help mediate conflict and help people find common ground, concerned about all voices being heard, people being included. So are we missing anyone from this conversation that should be here? And oftentimes the gift that we bring to the world, we don't do so well for ourselves. So whereas 9s are great helping others mediate conflict, don't prefer navigating their own conflict. So, the skill set's there, but it is not something that 9s love to do. And of the 9 types, 9s are said to hold the most perspective. So being willing to hold multiple perspectives at one time. So not feeling like there has to be one way of seeing things. There can be multiple ways of seeing things.
Interesting. I do know, like I said a minute ago, I thought that I was a 2. That free test was telling me I was a 2 a couple of times. Again, going back to the motivation, 2s and 9s are both very concerned about other people being okay around them. But 2s are making sure that everyone's okay because it makes them feel helpful and wanted and loved. 9s just want their peace.
Yes.
And so they're always like, is everybody okay? Because they can't be okay. Like I remember one of the things I love about The Road Back to You, they give like vignettes, like little stories to show like, okay, so if you went to dinner and you sat down with a friend and they brought your food and you start eating and talking, and all of a sudden you notice that your friend is not eating and you're like, why aren't you eating? Well, my order's wrong. Well, you cannot enjoy your dinner until you get your friends the right dinner. Like you just can't do it. Because you're so concerned. And so when that was what started really helping me narrow in is those little real life examples of like, that sounds like me. It's not just describing certain traits, but putting you in situations of how you would react and what. And he also said something about, usually if you're trying to figure out, usually when you get to your number, there'll be a little bit of a ouch. Oh, there's Lana. Hi, Lana.
Lana.
What's your number, Lana? She's giving you.
I think she's a 7. I think she's totally a 7.
Yeah, I think that diving into understanding, and also 9s go to 6s when they're stressed. And I was starting to resonate a little bit with a 6, but that's because when I'm stressed, I take on the negative aspects of a 6.
I don't believe that, but
you don't?
No. I'll go there, but I would like to point out that you said that you other assessments picked up on 2 for you, and 6 is something that you see in yourself. Well, your center specific style. So in each center, we have a preferred pattern. You're a 9, and that's where your motivation lies. Your feeling center preference is 2, and your thinking center preference is 6.
Oh, okay.
So I'm really never surprised when I talk to people who say, yeah, I've taken this before and it didn't get me right. It said I was this or I was that. They take the IQ9 and I'm like, well, see, here's your real type, but these patterns showed up in these other assessments because they're your preference in this other center.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. And that I think is unique to this questionnaire. And it helps, for me, it helps tremendously we kind of have to separate ourselves from some of the literature out there, because for me as an 8, I'm an 8-4-6. So I identify a lot with the inner complexities that a 4 experiences, and also that same thinking pattern that you prefer. That's that strategic, best case, worst case kind of a thinking pattern, which aren't really eight things. So this really helps to see ourselves in that true way, more true way.
Right. Interesting. So there's also wings, and your wings are the numbers on either side of you. So like my wings are 8 and 1, and yours are 9 and 7. So I've heard different thought patterns about their wings. Like I would see people say, oh, I'm a 9 with a 8 wing. But really you have both wings, right?
And you should, because birds fly with 2 wings. And if you don't fly with 2, you're just going to go around in circles.
So you should have a balance, right? You should have a little bit of both wings if you're going to.
Well, yeah, we
like an airplane, you don't want to be tipped over.
I rarely work with people who have a balanced wings, but I think that then shows us where our room for growth is, because if we continue to dip into one wing and into one set of patterns, there's an opportunity cost to that. We aren't necessarily reaching into the other wing. And when could we do that is the question. So what are we underutilizing in that wing?
Yeah.
Same with stretch and release.
Okay.
Same with stretch and release. We have the choice anytime. I call these our resilience lines. We have to have them. We use them both. We use them in very positive ways. We can use anything positively. We can also go low. Well, it's part of the self-awareness too. But understanding, I think I envision like this toolkit. And if you look inside the toolkit and you say, yep, these are my wings, these are my lines of stretch and release, they are in there when I need them. Then the next time you encounter a situation, it's a choice. Am I going to double down in my type? Am I going to go low here? Am I going to choose this? These are all choices that become very apparent to us in those circumstances.
Right. Well, I know that I have really, as I've gotten older and I've done more and more work on myself, I've been able to be more comfortable with my 8 wing, because the 8 is somebody that's bolder and more doesn't worry about challenging things and asking questions. And as a 9, that's not what we do. We want to just keep the peace and we don't want to challenge. So I used to say, okay, my 8 wing is making my 9 very uncomfortable right now. But I feel like I'm actually getting more well-rounded by embracing some of my 8, right? I ignored it for a long time.
Yeah, because of the discomfort, probably. And then you say, well, there's actually there's a good way to use it, and it's beneficial to me. So at that point that you recognize the benefits, I think we can start to get out of our own way. That's the whole self-awareness journey. We can choose. We have choices to make.
I also heard on the podcast today, they were saying they had some questions and somebody said, does your number ever change?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, no, your number doesn't change. But as you do your work, as you grow, you might start, because he's a four, but he said he said, as he's done his work, he's taken on more and more characteristics of a nine because that's the balance he was missing or that he was needing. So a lot of people now will say, oh, I bet you're a nine. It's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm a four, but I have learned to really embrace so many things.
Mm-hmm.
And nine must be one of his in his triangle.
Mm-hmm.
I always get
Must
that
be.
confused. Yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah.
everyone has a triangle that they're in, and you have a gut, and also
Oh,
the
I
three
see what you're
centers.
saying.
There's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
gut,
The triads. You're talking about the different triads. Yeah.
different triad.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, like 9, 6, and 3, that's my triad, and so his must be 4 and 9, and I don't know what the other one would be. I
Yeah,
have
I'm
to
not
look. We should
sure.
have
I'll
pulled
have to
up
look at it.
next week, though. Y'all,
Yes.
it will probably be a good one for y'all to watch on YouTube because we're going to be able. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to have some graphics for you, and we're going to have our friend Marla on who has taken the IEQ 9, and Stacey's going to go over that live with her, so you'll be able to see what you would get if you took this IEQ 9. You would see, you know, the papers that you would get, you would be able to see. And Stacey's going to go through this with Marla. So if you want to take the IEQ 9, we're going to put a link so you can email Stacey in our show notes. And you can just email her. She can send you the link.
I'm just going to give you the link where people can press on the link and take it. I
Okay.
think the only choice you need to make if you do that is if you want me to help you debrief it, then you just have to send it to me. So there's a
Okay.
way on the system to do that.
Okay.
Otherwise, you take it, you get your report right away, and you start to read it.
Yeah.
There's two versions. There's a professional version. So if you're working and you lead people or you're want to focus in on some of the leadership competencies, there's a professional version.
Mm.
And the standard version is 23 pages. The professional version is 42.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, hey,
lots of data.
Lots of data. Lana. Potato.
Tomato.
Yeah. So y'all, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna break this up. I think, is there anything else we need to go over this week about the Enneagram that we missed? Let me look in.
Yeah, I would say back to what you mentioned about, does your type change? I agree. I think we're born with a type, and that comes with tools that we learn how to use or not over time, right? Even when we're in stress, when we're in trauma. So I work with a lot of women who've navigated trauma in their lives. And the questionnaire works, whether you're in a period of stress or not. It does isolate your motivation and therefore shows you the tools that you reach to under stress and in trauma. Okay. So that becomes part of, the conversation. Yes, I see myself a lot in these patterns, but it doesn't mean that that's my motivation or this assessment's going to pick up my, some women will say, am I going to get typed based on the stress I'm under? And the answer is no.
Right.
No.
Right.
And I think that's helpful because as we're navigating transition and change and trauma and stress, it's good to know what we're headed back to. It's good to know the tools we have to navigate those times and also,
right,
where we're headed
right.
to re-energize and restore ourselves.
Right. And there's no good number or bad number. Mm-hmm. All the numbers have good qualities and I hate to say bad qualities, but they each have their pros and cons, and being able to recognize, wow, these are my strengths and I can work on them. But yeah, these are the areas. That's what I was saying earlier, where Ian was saying, sometimes when you start reading about a number and you kind of go, ouch, that like you have a reaction, that might be your number because you're like, ooh, that sounds like me. But yeah, I think it's going to be fun to talk to Marla and go over these results of hers. I've got mine too. So y'all tune in. And if you have any questions between now and next week and you want to send them to us, let us know and we'll try to answer.
Definitely.
Those.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it would. All right. Well, we're going to shut this down for now. This was fun. I love talking about the Enneagram, and
we didn't even mention anything about how it's not demonic.
Oh my goodness. I know, right?
Oh, it's so funny.
Why do people? So I know that there was a lot. I remember when I started reading Read Back to You, there were a lot of churches, a lot of women's groups that were reading it and that were loving it. And then there was this like, oh, that's demonic.
Yeah.
And they started running from it.
They think it's a pentagram when there are like 9 points, which does not 5. It's just not the same.
Newsflash, it's not demonic. Any of that. It's none of that.
Oh,
guys. So well, thanks for listening today. Y'all come back and we'll continue this Enneagram conversation next time on the Fresh Start Podcast. Bye. This episode has been brought to you by God and My Girlfriends Ministries. If you're looking for a faith-based community where everyone is accepted, all beliefs are welcome, and no judgment, check out godandmygirlfriendsministries.org, where you can find more information about our book clubs, both online and in person, upcoming retreats, and all the events in your area. You can also find out about one of our favorite things that we do, our Single Moms Christmas Blessing Ministry. So go check out godandmygirlfriendsministries.org. We would love to have you a part of our community.